Well, I debated myself to even do this video, but I do think this is very necessary. And I will jump into the current controversy in another video, but I want to set up the background because this is a very disturbing episode. But I do need monetization, so I'll have to be very careful with my words. Unfortunately, it is what it is. I may be a little bit more honest with the channel members and the channel videos. It is what it is, guys. I'm not trying to pressure you to join, but times are hard. So let us get right to it. So there was a massive, very weird episode with Marilyn, an ally of Aaron Smith-Levin, one of the biggest YouTubers who focus on Scientology, although I think Aaron focuses mainly on Arontology, but that is my humble opinion. And for whatever reason, Marilyn went against a certain moderator, Ellie, and it got so bad that Ellie almost lost her life. It was a very controversial stream. I somewhat remember it, and Marilyn has been a very vicious bully to me, so that I can definitely confirm. She is a very vicious bully. But even I was shocked at the sheer level of slandering and insulting going on. And it's like, what is this all about? It's very confusing. So last summer, Marilyn, in a fake grifting display, took away her channel. And then it came back. And that controversial stream is gone. Well, there we are. So she committed something very heinous and then covered it up. So YouTuber and First Amendment auditor Mexican Longhair. Now, again, I don't know if MLH identifies as an auditor. From what I understand, he's in that genre, but I could be wrong. I also want to do two apologies. He left me a very nice comment. I am just overwhelmed. So apologies, brother. I'm just scarce for time and resources, but I will try to do a follow-up comment. So he's been exposing Maryland for a while, but apologies. And I say even brother more, more frontally because I am Central American. He's Mexican. I am Central American. Apologies there. Also, double apology that I wanted to cover this issue before, but I don't know. I just felt a little odd about it because I've heard. I do think, however, Ellie is credible and he is very credible. They are doing their own thing and they are very critical of DOA, which I have no issue with. I would disagree with some of the criticism they had, but that will be for another time and place. So essentially, what happened? Well, the way I understand it is that the accusation was that Ellie was hurting or trying to hurt Aaron's SPTV Foundation. Ellie denies that. She says she has nothing against the SPTV Foundation. She has nothing against the Aftermath Foundation. So why did this controversy happen? Well, apparently there was some bad information that Marilyn was spreading, a kind of propaganda emanating from Nancy, or Nance Drew, as she calls herself. Nance Drew is a Chicago protester. So why was Nance Drew doing all this? Well, apparently she was trying to get in good with DOA and Aaron. Again, people forget, last year, Aaron and DOA were friends, and DOA was very loyal. But as you do with cults and cult leaders, they need to find targets, right? They need to find a scapegoat. And Ellie, unfortunately, was that person. So for whatever reason, they specified and focused on her as the source of all these evils and dangers. And it seems what Nance was trying to do to help her own fraud, because she was raising money for a court case and legal battle and basically distorting things. Being very brief about it, she was alleging that the Scientology people were trying to frame her for committing a crime she did not commit. But the problem is, if you look at her video carefully, she actually did commit the crime, and the Scientology people were right. So she actually should be in jail. But there you go. So she fooled a lot of people in the community to give her money for a court case that she was never interested in fighting because she settled and apparently is pocketing the difference. And she's been not answering questions about where the money went for months and months. Now, Ellie is not denying that the screenshots or other information that Marilyn shared were, quote, false. They apparently were from her. However, she is denying the implication. Namely, she was distorting the context and trying to make Ellie into this villain that she never was. Now, Marilyn, to give her some credit, did put out a post. I don't know if she's going to keep the post. I have done screenshots with my phone, right? However, she may erase the comments. And there she does take ownership of some of what she did. She admits that she may have misrepresented things, and she apologizes to Ellie. And apparently she says she's been trying to contact Ellie. Okay, well, good faith. Maybe, maybe not. Ellie, I think, wants nothing to do with Marilyn. However, she is willing to take an apology if it's sincere. In my judgment, Marilyn is not being sincere, so Ellie should watch her back. So, several things we should take from this. One is that there's a lot of cultish behavior going on with Aaron, going with Marilyn, going on with DOA, and Nora. Now, if you want to join a cult, that is your decision, but it should be a decision you make as an autonomous person. Now, however, if you make that decision and you make it fully, you will be judged. So I judge Nora very harshly, I judge Aaron very harshly, I judge Marilyn very harshly, because they are continuing this cult-like behavior and trying to fool people and commit fraud, grift, lie, and hurt people. And this is an episode where someone may have lost their life. And Ellie is saying that it's not just her, they were terrorizing her family. This is not just this internet, a few nasty comments back and forth between creators. Ellie's not a creator, she's not a YouTuber. She was just moderating for these channels, she was joining the anti-Scientology fight, and she has her own trauma with a cult. Not Scientology, but another cult. So it's like really the worst of both worlds, where we're getting someone who claims to be fighting Scientology, but using all the techniques of Scientology. Whenever she gets caught being a cultist, she offers a lame apology and then goes right back to it, doing a lot of vicious propaganda, fooling people, misrepresenting things, and just creating a lot of chaos and havoc for money and for popularity. And although their channel has been diminished, they are gaining support again. So they've been caught now 4 or 5 times. And this is not ancient history. We're just talking the last year being complete frauds. Like after the 5th time, it's not an accident. This is cult-like behavior. You're doing it either for power or for money, but it's not good. You're not here to help people. You're not here to help the victims. But oh, they're going to trot out their foundations, their charities, and guys, I'm just raising money for a child. Guys, I'm raising money for a woman victimized. And that is true. There are victims. Did these victims authorize you to speak for them? No. I know in certain cases that is radically not true. That is radically not true. You are just invoking the deaths and trauma of other people to justify, frankly, a very brutal authoritarianism. Right? So 2 things can be true. We can have criticisms of Ellie. We can have criticisms of Mexican long hair. If you're a DOA fan, at this point, I think you're delusional. However, that is your choice, but you can be judged on those choices. And DOA, I don't know how he does this, but he does attract good people who have good intentions. I would just advise those people, listen to Ellie, listen to Mexican long hair, and just take some time to think about what you're doing. And I would say that to the Aaron cult people. I was one of these people. I used to be an Aaron superfan. I would defend Aaron all the time. I'd give Aaron all the excuses. I've woken up. You can wake up too and take responsibility, which is what I'm trying to do. And you know what? What I just said right there for the last couple minutes, I didn't specify who I talked about, because that could refer to either Marilyn or Nora. So 2 things can be true. We have a Scientology cult, which is very vicious and dangerous, and we have these other cults. They're also vicious and dangerous, and they're not anti-Scientology cults. They're pretending to be anti-Scientology just for the cameras. But behind the scenes, they're doing the exact same thing all the time. Fair gaming, dead agenting, and doing really vicious, bad propaganda that is barely coherent. So please listen to Ellie. Please listen to Mexican long hair. The stream itself is very long, but the Ellie section is about 40 minutes. It is long, but I think it's a very critical piece of history you should look at. Thank you for listening.